Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today we've got the pleasure of watching bad RNG from the European server playing in the Tier 8 Soviet tank destroyer, the Su130 PM. But just as this battle is going to begin, take a look at the equipment that bad RNG is using. And bad RNG, if you happen to have an opportunity, please grace us with why you have set the vehicle up like this in the comments down below. I'm only going to be guessing what you've been going for on this vehicle. So let's talk about the Su130 PM, and specifically why bad RNG is using a gun rammer, coated optics, and using a gun laying drive, albeit a bounty gun laying drive device. It's very interesting for me, because obviously this vehicle, with its open top, it can't use vents, and so it frees up an extra equipment slot on the tank. A lot of people on a vehicle like this would like to use a rotation device, because if you use a rotation device on this vehicle, then you're preventing the blooming from happening in the first place. Some people would go as far as to put the rotation device inside the firepower slot to be able to get the extra dispersion on the tank. Bad RNG is not using a rotation device at all, but instead going for a gun laying drive. And I've been thinking about why this might be. And it's probably because of the field mods on this tank now. Now with the field mods on this vehicle, what you can do is you can improve the accuracy, you can make the aim time worse for it, and also you can get a bonus slot for scouting inside slot 2, which is probably why we see bad RNG putting those coated optics in the second slot, so they now become 11.5% extra view range. Now, I went on to Tanks GG, and I set up the vehicle how I would, and I expect bad RNG has, considering they look like they're a very competent player in this vehicle with 3 marks of excellence. And you can get up to 461 meters view range with coated optics, even on a tank like this that has quite poor base view range. So what bad RNG is going to be doing is trying to improve the aim time that they've made worse to be able to buff up the other statistics of the tank, like the accuracy, and also like the view range with the field mod. Okay, so bad RNG. Now that I've explained that, please let me know in the comments down below if I'm kind of getting it right. It's always really interesting for me when I get to have the pleasure to commentate on other awesome players' replays and why they set their vehicles up how they do, because it's a great learning experience, I think, for everybody involved. So bad RNG, with the sneaky Tier 8 Soviet tank destroyer, started in a nice favourable position, and I think it was his vision, well, we can see exactly over here, it was his vision that managed to get rid of the Batchatillon 12T. And having dealt with that vehicle through putting themselves in an aggressive position, now gone back and, oh dear, bad RNG, I thought your name was meant to be ironic. I didn't realize it was, are you cursed with bad RNG constantly in the game, bud? Maybe, possibly, because that bounce off a G-Saw that would have been taken out with that shell, oh, that is truly painful. I hope that's not going to come back to hurt the team later on in the game. So what I love about the way that bad RNG plays this tank, and this is really how you can take your tank destroyers to the next level, is that bad RNG isn't doing the stereotypical thing of sitting at the back and letting his light tanks spot for him so he can be able to get damage. Just in the way that you've seen them set up the vehicle, with the coated optics, probably good crew skills like situational awareness, recon, brothers in arms to be able to pump up that view range, the correct field mods on the vehicle as well, means that, unlike me, where I don't have all of those things currently on this vehicle and I have to use binoculars and be more static and stationary, bad RNG is going to show you how, if you can manage to squeeze out the view range on a vehicle and you can have coated optics on a tank like bad RNG does here, then you're able to be so much more dynamic with getting up on a ridgeline and spotting out your opponents for yourself, and that is what it is all about. Remember that if you're spotting for yourself, you get twice as much experience as if you are just dealing damage to tanks that other vehicles are spotting. And so if you're wanting to pump up your experience through a tech tree, or alternatively you're wanting to just try and hit those big ace tanker badges at the end of the game, then spotting for yourself can not only lead to more damage but also more experience as well. Okay, so one of my favorite things as well that bad RNG, as I've been mentioning, was that he started off in a position to get rid of the light tanks, fell back to another position to be able to provide view range, and now has found themselves in an incredible scenario here where they're spotting the Pantera for their vehicles down below. I can only presume that was maybe the KV-4. Okay, yeah, you know what? Definitely not the best view range on there. But the fact that Bad RNG is going from position to position to position to put themselves into the game, to give their team the most damage, but also delivering these big old claps like the Su130 PM loves to do, is just absolutely wonderful. Bad RNG is making use of the intuition skill. So many new things in World of Tanks to be able to talk about. I have to admit, it's made my commentary on YouTube a lot more exciting recently with intuition and highlighting all of these new features that people are able to use hopefully the correct shells for the job. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough time to be able to reload either a high explosive round or an armor piercing round for the AMX CDC, but clearly Bad RNG is trying to use the heat rounds early to be able to get rid of the meat on the enemy team, aka those heavy tanks that are plowing down the hill. Oh, Bad RNG not living up to their name there. That one flew clean right into the French medium tank, and now that CDC is not doing too well. Bad RNG is already up to a kind of game where I would consider, even if I was playing a tier 10 tank destroyer, you know what, it's not bad, right? 3,000 damage, 1,000 spotting, but still with 8,800 hit points left on the enemy team, Bad RNG has got to do some work. So Bad RNG is showing exactly how you don't have to just be one kind of player in World of Tanks, or you can't just be one kind of player in World of Tanks if you want to excel in vehicles like this that are very varied and they require lots of different playstyles. Bad RNG is showing that he knows how to play his medium tanks, he knows how to play his light tanks, he's a holistic player, he gets forwards, spots through the bush, pulls back behind the bush, fires through the bush without getting spotted, clearly knowing Bush 101 mechanics, taking them to a really nice level here. I like the way that also Bad RNG realizes, okay, we've got the initial shot, I got some vision out for the team, got in another 579 damage and a bit more spotting as well, and now has fallen back to another location where he's going to be able to set up another line of vision, another opportunity to be able to get an ambush shot, and hopefully be able to also survive even if they get spotted. Again, Bad RNG lighting up the KV-4. We hear the artillery shells coming in from the back, but unfortunately the KV-4 shuts down one of the artilleries, meaning that Bad RNG's team is starting to wilt. Unfortunately, that shell, that high explosive anti-tank shell with that whopping 320 millimeters of penetration, was unable to go through the tier 8 tank destroyer. That one, however, went right through, and that tier 8 Soviet heavy tank is now not very well indeed, with 153 hit points, and yeah, maybe the driver was dead and just kept the foot on the pedal, although I think that Soviet tanks actually had brakes rather than pedals, right? Unless I'm mistaken. Okay, Su130 PM just doing absolute monster work right now, and this is why I loved this replay. Everyone out there watching, seeing how you can play turreted tank destroyers, this is something that you can definitely take some notes from. Just working these ridgelines, working these bushes, using the 7 degrees of gun depression this thing has, holding back a ridiculous number of tanks, clearly has really good camera rating on the vehicle, and there you go, another Progetto 46 shut down and spotting on the Pantera as well to be able to get them out the game. Now Bad RNG is dealing with the German turreted tank destroyer, the Scorpion G, and oh no! Now with only 9 rounds of ammunition in their tank and still 6 enemy vehicles to deal with and 3,700 hit points, Bad RNG is going to have to get a little bit better luck here. I would have liked to see Bad RNG load a high explosive round there, and there you go. A little bit of a low roll, now leaving the Scorpion on 11 hit points. Luckily the KV-4 shuts them down. Another armor-piercing round going in right now, hopefully into the T92, and oh, Bad RNG showing a little bit of shaky aim here, but this isn't the easiest tank to be able to aim with, and shuts down the T92. My hands would be shaking, my knees would be weak in this kind of a situation, if of course I wasn't sitting down, right? 6,300 damage and 3,400 spotting. This is a gargantuan performance. Now, in a 2 versus 4 scenario, with an artillery, a Lorraine 155-51 at their side. Will Bad RNG be able to get this one through, or are we looking at a bit of a heartbreak? If I was in this kind of situation, it'd be tricky. With 5 minutes left on the game and 2 enemy self-propelled guns to deal with, you think that you'd have to push through. But considering that their artillery just got caught out, and it looks like they were trying to make a bit of a hero run. Where was the artillery? I can't even see their... Oh, there they are, right in the middle. So they didn't make a hero run. Okay, Bad RNG is going to use intuition to load a high explosive round and... Oh dear. Now with 6 rounds left and 4 vehicles to be able to deal with, this is going to be a bit of a tense one considering the SU has 1,100 hit points. Or at least it did. 769 high explosive damage. That one really did roll high. And that puts the SU down to a one-shot territory. And talking about high explosive rounds, it doesn't look like Bad RNG is the only one who has them because the Chrysler K up on the hill fires an HE round right into the back of Bad RNG's tank. Luckily, the second one whiffs and hits the dirt towards the left of their vehicle as they're racing away from the American heavy tank up on the hill with 2 artilleries probably aiming at every opportunity. Bad RNG now turns the vehicle around, gets ready to have to deal with the onslaught of the American heavy tanks pushing down off this hill on Malinovka. Looks like Bad RNG's team, unfortunately, is too busy bickering with themselves instead of actually enjoying this beautiful tour de force that Bad RNG is putting on. Now up to over 10,000 combined, nearing 11,000 combined in an Su130. There's the Chrysler. Come on, this is the moment. 4 shells left in the tank. 1 tank and 2 self-propelled guns to be able to deal with. And luckily, with the good high alpha damage of the Su130 PM, those rounds should be more than enough unless there's a real bad roll to deal with the 2 tier 8 self-propelled guns on the enemy team. Okay, so Bad RNG decides that sitting in those woods and then turning it into chance against the Chrysler probably isn't going to be the best play. Also, to all intents and purposes, maybe the self-propelled guns are trying to flank around the hill. Now, in this kind of a situation, I kind of don't like the fact that Bad RNG is being a little bit passive here, but that is the only thing that I could possibly say. I would feel that Bad RNG has to take the fight to the enemy team if he also wants to win this game, because the 2 self-propelled guns are most likely going to be at the back of the map. So in this scenario, you're either going to have to cap, or you're going to have to get to the back of the map and then be able to come back and kill the Chrysler as well. It's going to be a tricky scenario to be able to get through. But you also maybe think that Bad RNG deserves a little bit of leeway and a little bit of respect for basically putting his team on the back, and oh my word, it's happening. Here come the Scout self-propelled guns, and because Bad RNG relocated, he managed to stop them from getting the flanking maneuver. I'd say good plays all in all by the Su130 to be able to go over and try and get that flanking play. To all intents and purposes, Bad RNG would still be in the woods and they had to try and pincer their attack. The Chrysler's sixth sense goes off. Surely he's not going to come out round the rock, kind of baiting Bad RNG here. Putting his lower plate round the corner. Oh, yes, sir! Now with 2 shells left in the vehicle, the sirens go off. 2 minutes left in the game. Will Bad RNG be able to add to the 5 kills? And he's got to be happy about that. The shell tracer shows exactly where the artillery is, and with 440 hit points, is it going to take 1 or is it going to take 2? Are we going to see a Top Gun with over 8,000 damage? Oh, yes, we are. Look at that. Bad RNG raising his gun, showing off the superior Soviet gun elevation in this scenario. And you got to love this skin on this vehicle as well, with the kind of like the hidden leopard design here that you can see, which not a lot of people actually notice on this vehicle. Bad RNG. What a tour de force in this vehicle, showing exactly how you have to play your sneaky tank destroyers and how you have to take them to the next level. It's not enough to sit at the back and just hope that your team spot. You have to try and get forwards, set your vehicle up in the correct way, and use all of that knowledge you've built up in your light tanks. Use all of that knowledge you've built up in your medium tanks to sometimes do all of those jobs as well for your team. And that is how you can have these truly epic, heroic, monster damage performances. I would like to add, however, while I'm getting super excited here at clearly a very good player playing with all of the luxuries and advantages of a Soviet Tier 8 premium tank destroyer, I, for one, knowing yesterday, playing my Object 704 on a middle of the day on a Saturday during a 3 times experience weekend, with having stock tracks and a stock gun on that vehicle and losing 6 games in a row, no matter how hard I tried, that there are definitely some tanks like this one that you can set up in that way. It's not like you can do it in every tank destroyer, at least until you have all the bells and whistles. And as if we needed more evidence that bad RNG really was the holistic, just the complete team in this game, just look at these Battle Hero medals. This is one of the things I love about this replay. Not only does bad RNG get the normal ones, you know, the Pascucci's medal, or even a high caliber, fairly normal for a tank destroyer, although 8,400 damage is not normal, over 4 times what anyone else on their team was able to achieve. These are the ones that I really like the look of. Confederate and a Top Gun at the same time, meaning that bad RNG destroyed 6 tanks themselves and also damaged 6 other vehicles that were subsequently killed by their allies. But more importantly, bad RNG also gets a patrol duty medal in a tank destroyer, something that is usually only there for your scouts or possibly even your mediums and very rarely your heavies. What an absolute holistic performance here for bad RNG. And how do you get rewarded when you do that kind of damage? Looks like using a credit booster at the same time. Yeah, cool, 261,000 credits even after resupplying consumables at what looks like full price and a lot of ammunition. Bad RNG, what are you doing, you complete donkey? Buy those consumables today at a 50% discount and never resupply them at full price again. Although I have to admit, I've been paying 20,000 credits for my Soviet premium consumables recently as well, because you just never realize how much you are actually going to be playing Soviet tanks after a while. So bad RNG, congratulations to you on this absolute epic mammoth game. And if for some reason you end up watching this, please let me know in the comments down below why you are valuing the gun laying drive over the rotation device on this tank. Do you feel it's because the vehicle's got enough rotation with the hull, which is actually pretty good, and the turret that's not too bad? Do you think it's better to actually pump up or should I say reduce the aim time on this tank? Are you also considering that it's because of the field mod that increases the aim time, or am I just reading into it far too much? Anyway, bad RNG, thank you so much to you for uploading your awesome game on the What Replays website for the community to enjoy, and I hope you feel that I added to it with my commentary. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, thank you all very much for tuning in today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And if you're watching this video as it goes live on Sunday, it's time for the World of Tanks Tech Tree Showcase today at 8 o'clock European time. And I'm going to be playing the British medium tanks because they haven't been featured in 2021. They definitely didn't get featured back in August, and I made a bit of a mistake, but I've already committed to it on Twitter now, so I can't go back. It's all been redacted. August never happened, okay? We're going to be playing British medium tanks today, including something that I'm a little bit famous for, aka the Comet. So yeah, really looking forward to seeing you all live right now. I had a horrible stream yesterday, and I'm going to be super determined to push back today and smash it. And yeah, I hope you have a lovely rest of your Sunday. And also, make sure you go and check out the Best Moments video yesterday. Thank you all so much for all of your feedback on that video. Tanya puts an insane amount of effort into those videos, and just your support of them, oh, it's wonderful. Thank you all. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you soon.